What's up, everyone? It is N Driver KG, and it has been over 2 years of ownership on this 2022 Hyundai Elantra N. So we're going to talk about all the good, all the bad, and all the greatness that we have went through with this car.
Here she is. Here's the car. It has been 2 whole years. Well, now a little bit over. I'm recording this video a little bit late, but we're going to go over how this car has actually been. Has it actually been reliable, or has it been a financial mistake? One issue I've had here is not the car fault, but I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And about a year ago, there was a Volkswagen that his fender liner broke in front of me, and I had to run it over. I had no choice. So unfortunately, I couldn't move to the left or right. The shoulder was non-existent on the right, and there was a car to the left. So unfortunately, went under here and it broke this part, and that is called the exoskeleton of the bumper. So I have to get a whole new lip, but it's just this whole piece that runs along there. So the red trim, everything. Another thing is these wheels have a 3/4 spacer behind it. These are plus 62. They did clear, I believe, but they were so far in. So these are plus 62. Last year I did have different tires on that were 275, and it did make contact up around here, and it did end up making so much contact that it ended up breaking the clip. So just keep in mind, if you're going to be running any type of aggressive stance on your car, just keep in mind, if it bounces up against here, it can break the tab here. So I'm gonna have to put a bumper quick release here and here. So not a big deal. To me, it only comes out if I push on it a little bit. So if I'm driving, it does not come out. So that's another thing. The specs on these are 18/9, like I said, plus 62. The tires are 245/40/18, and the tire that I was running before that was making contact was a 275/35/18. So over the few years, we've done a number of things: wrap, wheels, tires, multiple tires. We're going to go over that. But mud flaps, I did customize these. Sorry about the wind. Another thing I did was this trimming that goes around here, universal weather stripping that you just stick on, and that keeps some of the water from getting out. Right here where the hood makes contact, it actually leaves a little bit of a gap so water can get in on both sides. And some people actually had issues with earlier models. I'm not sure if it's with the newer ones too, but had issues with water getting inside as they drive, which you can see it's a little dusty in here from the time before, but water would get in here. It would end up getting in through the ECU. It would end up going in further, splashing up against there. This car didn't actually have that issue, but I heard many people had that issue, and I decided to go ahead and do preventative maintenance with that. It's not a super big issue, but I noticed people did go through that with certain cars, but not a significant amount. But as for me, the only issue that I've had the past few years was twice the injector, both, I believe 3 and 4, and a throttle body. So the throttle body was a random thing. I was coming home from a 3 to 4 hour drive, and all of my lights came on. It was really weird, but car was fine, and it drove. I cleared the code, it came right back, and the next day I thought I cleared the code that night, but the next day I ended up going to drive, and it just completely just not gave any power. But throttle bodies are cheap. It's really easy to install it. It's right on top in the front. I was able to change it out in about not even 5-10 minutes, and I was ready to go. I was on the road. So these two things are something that you should look out for when it comes to 2022 models. 2023, not so much. I haven't seen any 2023 models with the injector issue, and I haven't seen
them with the throttle body issue, but it's just something you want to look out for. But then again, I am at nearly 50,000 miles, and I do a lot of driving, a lot of far driving, and this car has seen a lot of different states. Almost 50,000 miles. We got this car back in early December of 2021. We were the first car in Jersey, the first Elantra N, and I believe the first 3 in the tri-state area. So this car was really new. We were driving it every day. You know, this car has been excellent. How much does it cost to fill up? It costs with premium, this is 93 gas, you're looking at anywhere between, if you're almost on E, about 28 bucks, and if you're on E, I would say between 30 and 36 bucks. And that's at around $4 a gallon for premium 93. This is a small tank, but it does last pretty well. Most times I'm able to get about 300 to 380 miles out of one fill up, so that is pretty good, being that this car has a small tank, and you really don't have any issues when it comes to that. Now, if you have a stock car, you have to worry about the octane learning, but I mean, it's not that big of a deal. But if you're worried about doing races with people and stuff like that, that octane learning can get really ridiculous and really annoying, especially for me as a person that didn't know that much on the octane learn. I was following the steps, being in 8th gear for 5 minutes and all that stuff, and the car just was not octane learning for me all the time, and it would just continuously be at 14 to 15 psi max. So if you're looking at get it tuned, you won't have to worry about this issue anymore. But all in all, I gotta recommend this car. This is a great car for $35,000. Sometimes you're able to come up on some deals that are a little cheaper. You can't beat this. You cannot beat it, especially for the money. What other cars do you have? The Type R is $10,000 more, and this is a little more comfortable. The only thing the Type R has over this is the seats. These seats do not give me any issues in long drives, as I've been in this car for max, I would say 10 hours, back-to-back driving, no stopping, and this car was comfortable. I didn't have to move around or move my ass up against one part of the seat. No, this thing was pretty comfortable, and it held its own. Another thing is they had multiple updates so far when it comes to the audio system on here. Before, it used to be able to go to 75. I did not have the update on this car, so this goes all the way up to 75, but the update, it goes to 45, but it's louder than the 75. So let me show you how fun this car could be. Let's see what we got here. Oh wait, put it in, turn the traction off, mash the gas. That felt good. We just burnt them tires up. But that was fun. Things that I've done is the shifters. I got these, I believe, from N75. I did put like a vinyl here. This was back in, I believe, January of last year, and I did that to the whole thing up there. I got this from eBay. This is a dash cover, and that's it. That is it for the interior. This interior is still holding up really well. Doesn't have any scratches or any weird things on the leather and suede. If you're in the market for this car, I would still say a 22-year model is still a very good find, and still a very good buy. You can find them for around $30,000 now with the DCT. Probably around the same price for the manual, but it's still a very good buy, and I still could recommend it. One thing that's annoying is it still gets a lot of handprint and stuff right here. You could get a screen protector for it. I wanted to get it, I just haven't gotten around to doing it. What's really nice is the fact that if it's super cold out, like it says 48 degrees, but it is really windy outside. But what's really nice is you can go into your app and you can have the car start from the app, but also set it up to have the air come on. So when you get in the car, you can have the heated seats on, you can have the air turned all the way up to high. Like one of my pre-starts is called "It's Damn Cold Outside." That means I want the heat on full blast coming out the vents and the rear diffuser on in the back. So on those super cold days, that's what I turn on. And if it's really hot outside, like in the summertime, then I'm gonna have the opposite, no heated seats on obviously, and just have the AC on. And by the time you get in the car, the auto start stays on, I believe, for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, it automatically shuts off. And if you ever worried about putting on the auto start and say you're in a bad neighborhood or something like that, and you're like, oh man, well, I don't want anyone to get into my car. If you put on the auto start and someone gets in the car and closes the door, if the key is not on them, this car will not stay running. It will shut off immediately. Another thing that people tend to worry about with these things is can this car be stolen? This is a Hyundai. You heard of the Kia boys, the Hyundai boys, whatever you want to call them. They are going around stealing Hyundai and Kia cars. But if you're looking at an N, there's something special. You see that right there? That's a push to start button. You can't put a USB into that. If you break the steering column, you break it. There's no USB to try and steal the car. So they won't be able to steal this car. So I believe the Limiteds come with push to start standard. You can get it in the SEL. And I believe the ones that can be stolen are the lower trim models. So that's what you want to look out for if you were getting a lower trim. But this isn't about that. This is about a N model car. Have I had any other issues with this car? No. So I drive a lot. I do a lot of highway driving. I'm in the city a lot. I am doing a lot of running hard with this car, track days if you will. And not one hiccup has happened when it comes to this car or leaving me stranded. This car has never left me stranded. Even when I had the injector issues, the car was still running. When it comes down to it, is this still the best bang for your buck? Absolutely. What car, please, if you have it, put it down in the comment section. What car for $35,000 or less is better than this car? I'll wait, because there aren't any, and that's non-biased. I'm a guy that really respects all cars and really likes other brands. And when it comes down to it, even I was doing the search before I got this car. And what was on my list? Still, again, Type R, which at the time, $43,000. You get nicer seats. Those seats are really, really comfortable. Past that, the shifter in the Type R is really nice also. But past that, I just didn't feel like overall the interior was as good as this. Now, when it comes to driving experience, I would have to drive a manual Elantra N and then give my take on that. But this car is really smooth. It's really good with taking bumps. Even if you have the stock 19s on it, it's pretty good. When you go down to 18s, it rides literally just like some of my friend's Stinger. This Elantra rides like a more luxury car that Kia produces. That's saying something. $35,000. I was looking at Stingers. I was looking at used Stingers because at the time the newer ones I believe were getting a bit up there. They were around 50 something thousand. I was like, man, I remember when the Stinger came out and it was around 44,000, 45,000, and they were putting it up against the BMW 440 trying to prove a point, the Gran Turismo. But look where we're at. We're a few years later and still Hyundai Kia is producing cars for the money that just can't be beat. It's in a league of its own. Because when you think about it, closer to that $35,000 is the SI, which SI is a nice car, really nice car, but not compared to this. You have the GR Corolla. GR Corolla is a really nice car on the outside. The interior, it just it's not special. I'm sorry. Like, I've seen many of them. It is a special car, but it just doesn't feel special. This car gives off something like it is special. I wonder what it is, but this car just feels special. But all jokes aside, these seats are really, really nice. They're really comfortable. The infotainment is really nice. It's really nice to be able to go in if my race box isn't on or I don't have it in this car, to just go in the infotainment system and do a 0 to 60 or do a 0 to 100 in Mexico. It's really nice. And then you can go in the infotainment system and see what your power is, how much torque you're making, what the car is doing, how the engine temp is. Look at this. So I usually have it on this with the background showing, but in mode, very responsive. It does its animation. I have it set up to see PSI, even though it's not going to show me the exact PSI because I am tuned. You got your engine temp. You have your throttle percentage. You got here just a little extra attack. I mean, you have it there, but it's there. Brake percentage. I'm pressing the brakes right now. I don't even know why, but this is your in custom. So my custom consists of having the exhaust on, sport. I still want it in sport plus. I want to hear it. Transmission is in normal because I wanted to stay in the highest gear available to save on gas. Suspension I have on sport. And still, again, with me saying this car rides really, really good. I have 90% of the time this car is in custom mode. So you have launch control right here, very easily active. Right now I'm just sitting in the car, but I know in the beginning people had issues with the launch control, but let me put on my seatbelt and show you how easy it is. You just press launch control, make sure you're in drive, make sure the steering wheel is straight. Then you put your foot on the brake and then that's it. That's simple. If you want to go up in RPM, you have your plus and minus right here. This is what you use. Simple. If you don't want it on, it stays on for about 5 minutes. You just turn it off. And then when you try and do it, nothing. So it's a really simple car to drive, really simple car to use. I mean, you can change your launch control here. I had it on lowest because for right now, these tires aren't the best. I even had a run the other day and it's cold out. It was about 40 degrees, 45 degrees, and this car still couldn't hook. Mind you, I don't have the craziest tune on right now. I have a lower tune on from earlier in the year that's not even making a crazy amount of boost, but I don't know what the hell Daniel did, but this car sometimes just makes so much power. I don't understand. But what happens is I was going to brake boost slightly, like I'm not even saying a full 20 psi, but brake boosting to like 8, 9, and as soon as I went off, I just roasted, and it was a 60 roll. I completely roasted the tires. Actually, I think I have a video of it, but it was against a big turbo 335, the N54. Now, mind you, me and him were going to run before that, and I ended up running a friend of his that had a N55 hybrid turbo. These cars are making 450 horsepower. We're making about 340, 350 on this tune. So it's just interesting that this car is still able to beat those. But the first race that we went to go do, we're at 60. I'm at third gear, 63rd gear, and this car is just the whole time. Like, I'm keeping it straight as if this is a rear-wheel drive car. I mean, you're not catching any traction, especially when you're tuned. You're not. You need really good tires on this car. like I told you, the Michelin Pilot Sport All Season 4 is okay, but those Continental Extreme Contacts are amazing. The DWS 06 Plus, amazing. Foursome Extra R, amazing. Grab those. If you can find them at a good price, grab them. They are worth every single penny for front wheel drive over 300 horsepower cars that have issues with spinning. But all in all, this car has just been a blast. Not one electrical issue. We had 2 hiccups, but overall, I couldn't see myself getting anything else from this. Like I said, again, the cars I was looking at was the Stinger, the Type R, the Mercedes CLA 45, the newer version before they stopped. I don't think they have a CLA 45 anymore for the 2024 model, but I was looking at those. I believe the RS3 and the S3, SQ5, a Bronco, a Mustang, but I knew the S650 was coming out soon after that, and I was like, hey, you know, we don't know what it was going to look like at the time. Listen, this was the best decision I've made, and I'm a V8 guy. I'm wholeheartedly mainly a V8 guy, and this 4-cylinder, this automatic 4-cylinder, because I really am not a fan of driving automatics. Like, I'm not that type of guy that is in traffic, oh man, I hate putting my foot on the clutch, I really hate it in traffic. I'm enjoying it every bit of the way. Like, this is how much I really enjoy cars, because I am that type of driver, and I just enjoy any car I'm in, especially when it has a stick shift in it. But for this being a DCT, this you really don't miss it as much as you would think you would in a regular automatic. Like, I still use the paddle shifters a lot. All in all, it's nothing more that I can say, but these 2 years have been amazing. One thing you have to keep in mind, for a first year run of any car, it's going to have its fair share of known issues. It's going to happen. It happens to every single car that's ever came out. There's no car that's perfect. So for those little issues that we had, Hyundai would have taken care of it, but I'm impatient, and if I'm slightly mechanically inclined, I'm going to try and fix it myself. I don't feel like having the car over in Hyundai that long. The first time the injector broke, they had it for 4 days, I believe 3 or 4 days. Second time, I wasn't waiting. So all in all, if I had to give this car a 1 through 10 of ownership, I am going to give it an honest 9.5. All of my friends are able to fit in the back of this thing. A lot of my friends aren't small people. My cousin's like 6'4". One of my best friends is 6'2". My father's 6'3", and he sits in the back. I mean, what other car brand are you getting that from? And still take people to Gapplebee's. I mean, the Type R is great, but the price. That Integra Type S is so beautiful, but price. And essentially, you're getting somewhat of the same thing. Because if you want stick, you can get this car in a stick for even less. You ain't gonna get better. But this is just me talking to you guys as if you're my friends. Like, I want to give you an honest opinion. I want to give you my honest insight on what it's been like. It's nearly 50,000 miles, and this car is still running. I'm hard on my cars. I've owned over 30 cars in my life. I'm not that old. I've owned 30 cars, and a lot of them were lower end cars, and some of them were really nice. This is one of those really, really nice cars. So if you're up on the fence about it, I'm gonna say, first, before anything, go test drive the cars that you're thinking about. If you're thinking about that Integra Type S and money is nothing to you, if you're thinking about that Audi RS3, go test drive those cars. Hey, Stinger, go test drive it. I was really, really close on the Stinger. The only thing that got me is the fact that the Stinger didn't have as nice as an interior as this. And it seems like the capability on those cars are a little higher, but when it comes down to it, I'm sticking with my friend that has full bolt on and is on water meth injection, just like I am. This car has 2 to 3 mods: high pressure fuel pump, intake system, downpipe, and a tune. This 350 horsepower car is able to keep up with a 480 wheel horsepower Stinger. If not, beat it. That's saying something. Yeah, weight is a thing. This is 3,300 pounds. Stinger is around 4,000. I don't know, but it's around 4,000. But you gotta think about it. If a Type R is gonna beat this, that Type R needs to be at least 430, 440 wheel horsepower, I'm pretty sure. If your GR Corolla is going to beat a 350 horsepower Elantra N, it needs to be around 430, 440 wheel horsepower. At the end of the day, I have my little race box and I'm doing quarter miles all the time. Now, I'm spinning a lot. My best quarter mile on my crazy tune is 120 at 12.3. Now, 12.3 is okay. I'm spinning. Like I said, I am spinning a lot. And this was without any slope. I think I really try and do these times on a clear path or slightly uphill, because if you do those times downhill, that's unrealistic. You're not going to hit those times when you're out there running somebody, so you want accurate numbers of what you're getting. But one thing you got to keep in mind is, for some reason, this car just puts power down really, really nicely. Now, I haven't had the chance to go against an RS3. I would really like to go up against one. I know those cars are in a league of their own. They are monsters. So for this I would be honored if I lost by 2 cars. But right now, this car is about a 10-second, I would say mid-high 10s, maybe 11, 60 to 130 car at 350 to 380 horsepower. The fastest I've been, I added a little Octane in. Sometimes I did add E, and we got this car to 9.8, 60, 130. My average 60 to 100 is anywhere between 4.5 and 5.4 on a normal, depending on what tune I'm running. These are really, really quick numbers for a 4-cylinder car that has 3 to 4 easy mods that are not expensive, not hard to hook up. So if you're after something that's a quick car, if you're coming from a Golf R, something like that, this would be a nice car for you to get into. Like a lot of my friends, I've went against so many Golfs in the last few months. Some of my friends from up north have Golfs, and these were full bolt-on stage 2 cars. Even yesterday, I went against a IS38 turbo Golf, a Mark 7, and he got a nice jump on us, and we caught him on the top end and left.
Ready?
Brand new Golf R, the Mark 8, 440 wheel horsepower. We're making almost 100 less than that, and was slipping that night, and we caught him at 120 miles an hour and passed him by in Mexico. And that's a full bolt-on stage 2 Golf R. not trying to be biased here, but that's impressive. That's impressive. It has nothing to do with all that. This is just my car. It's a Hyundai. That's impressive for a brand that was really, really shitty. And I'm sorry. If you ask me about their other cars, some of their other cars that aren't N models, they need some work. There's some Sonatas out there that some people I know have, and they're holding strong. But some of those 2.0 motors, non-turbo, Hyundai got to get it together. But this N brand, this shit is good. This is a solid car. And the price range, again, within $30,000. All right, let me say $25,000 within this car's range. I'm going to say this is the best bang for your buck. Now, I might eat that. There's some cars out there that's damn good, but I'm going to have the last Elantra N versus the world coming out on Friday. I'm trying to have it to you by Friday. And some of those runs are without meth. Some of them are with. Some of them I'm slipping. Run is a run. But we go to Mexico a lot. And just to showcase to you guys that don't know, even you guys that do know and want to get tuned, just to showcase you guys what this car can do. That's why I made this channel. Say, hey, it's something new. There's things I can't find on it. The Veloster people it's a small group of them. And I've driven many Velosters, and I understand why they love that car. That car is just, it's great for the price. The shifter is great. The shifting experience, the driving experience is pretty damn good. That car, that's the car that started it for me. A few years ago, this was back in 2018, one of my friends had a Veloster N. I said, whoa, that's that new Hyundai. I remember Doug DeMiro talking about that car. That's interesting. 275 horsepower. That's interesting. And I love little cars. And I got inside of it. And I remember thinking, I'm like, damn, this is Hyundai? That's awesome. Like, they're doing some damn good shit. Like, look at this. And here we are, years later. And I'm a big advocate for, hey, you guys don't know about this car. Why don't you hop in? Why don't you try it? You want to go for a ride? Just to open you guys up, because a lot of people are just so like, oh, I'm a Chevy guy. I'm a Ford guy. Oh, I'm a Dodge guy. Nothing's better. It's Mopar or no car. You should open up to other cars. You should open your mind, because you'll be surprised. You'll be pleasantly surprised. I don't think it makes sense. But for you guys that must know, I am a Ford guy. But I happen to own a Chevy, too. But I will catch you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching, as always. If you could subscribe, that means a lot. I enjoy making this type of content for you guys. And just keep your eyes open and stay safe out there and be blessed.